everyone, this is Angie at Stampin' with the Moray, and I have another card to share with you in my holiday series, and it's the Happy Holiday card, this one right here. And I love the way this turned out, and I did it with that chalkboard technique. And I also have it opening this way because it reminded me of one of those boards that are outside like a cafe, and they stand up like that, and they're like their menus are written on it. And so I wanted it to open this way instead of the traditional side open. So this is the card that I'm going to share with you. I got these little pine cones from one of my local craft stores, and if you'd like, you don't have to add those. I just love the look that it gives it. And you can use actually your envelope punch board to make an envelope that this will fit perfectly in. I just didn't have time because I wanted to get this video out. So, or use one of those little bubble mailers. That works too. I've used that before for cards. So this is the card that I'm going to share today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first thing you're going to need is a piece of 4 1/4 by 11. This is Mossy Meadow. You'll need a piece of real red that's 4 by 5 1/4. Your next piece will be 3 3/4 by 5, and that's Whisper White. And I did emboss this already with my decorative dots embossing folder. I love that because it looks like snow. And then you're going to need a piece of Nordic Noel Designer Series paper, and this is 3 3/4 by 3. And then a piece of basic black to do your chalkboard technique on and stamp your stamp. So let's get started, and let's go ahead and just stamp this first. And I'm going to grab my embossing buddy and make sure it's well coated, because you are going to use Versamark and emboss this. And I will grab my sentiment, and there's no happy like holiday happy. Loving the stamp set so much, and I know you've seen it a lot, but I'm using different stamps in it, so you're getting to see a lot of different stamps. So I'm going to try to center this in the center. I want to get my head in there and lift that up. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper and some of my white embossing powder. It's the Stampin' Emboss White, and we'll pour that all over and make sure it is coated. I'm going to make sure all the little, set that aside for a minute and get this back into the jar. Okay, so we're ready to emboss it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my heat tool, and we're going to emboss that real quick. We have that all embossed. I'm going to grab some of the Stampin' Pad, the Stampin'Up Whisper White Craft ink, and I'm just going to take a little on my sponge here, and we are going to just go over this. It just gives it a little bit more of that chalkboard look. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to grab my Stampin' Up chalk marker, and I love this little pen, and I'm just going to create some little dashes all the way along to create a border. Okay. So now we are ready to start mounting our layers, And I'm going to bring up the Mossy Meadow, and I need to get my trimmer so that I can score this, and we're going to score it at 5.5. And that is all the scoring, believe it or not. So now we are going to start putting on our layers. And I'm going to use the Tombow for this because I like the way that it, I have a few minutes, because there's so many layers, I have a few minutes to adjust them. So I'm just going to use the Tombow on this. So our basic, our red goes on top. That's our first layer. And you can scoot this around. So I want to make sure that's down real good now. And then we are going to layer on our decorative dots, embossed one, but first we need some wild wasabi. This is the seam binding. So I'm going to layer this underneath because this is where our bow is going to come around. So let me get, this Tombow works really good too on these that are embossed because this one is a little bumpy, so it makes it easier and it stays a whole lot better. So I want to leave enough to tie a good bow. We're going to set that on, center it. I hope I'm centering this good because I can't really get over it. Okay, so then this is going to come over here and we're going to set our next layer on, which is the decorative Nordic, the designer series paper, and this is the Nordic. You can see this is the other side. I created a treat box with this side, and this is the other side that I'm using now. And this was just a piece of scrap, so always use your scrap. And this goes on top and in the center, and then our main piece will go on top, and that's our little chalkboard, which I love, love, love this thing. You have to get the Mingle All the Way stamp set because I'm telling you, you will use it like crazy. So nice. Okay, so we're ready to layer our chalkboard on. Center that. This Tombow can get a little messy, that's why I don't use it all the time. But when I have a bunch of layers, it does hold it a lot better, I think. And let's go ahead and cut our ribbon there. Okay, so now we're ready to attach our little pine cones. And I'm going to use one of these craft dots because it's really strong and it will hold that on really well. And first what I did was I created a little knot and I stuck this underneath so I can tie the bow actually around that. And then we'll tie our bow. You can make the bow as big as you like. I didn't want it too big because I wanted to be able to see the sentiment. So let me grab the scissors and I'm going to kind of what I call ducktail that ends. So there you have it. Isn't that adorable? I just love that. Here's the other one. See, I made this bow a little bit smaller. You can make it as big as you like. I don't want to hide the sentiment, so that's why I made it smaller. But anyway, that's the card for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you need any supplies, you can go to my blog at stampingwithamore.com, shop right from my blog. And you all have a blessed rest of the week, and I will see you next time. Bye.